You ever notice how when you're always the one reaching out, always the one texting first, always the one planning everything, it starts to feel like you're doing all the work? And more often than not, it doesn't get you closer to her. It pushes her away. That's not a coincidence. That's human psychology. People don't chase what they know they already have. And if you're constantly in her space, constantly giving her attention, constantly reminding her that you're waiting around for her reply, you've made yourself too easy to get. There's no tension, no mystery, no pull. Here's the deal. To get her to chase you back 90% of the time, you have to flip the script. That means you have to stop chasing. Now look, I'm not telling you to play games or be cold. This isn't about becoming emotionally distant or fake. It's about shifting your energy from chasing to leading, from proving yourself to simply being yourself. It's about showing her that your world doesn't revolve around whether or not she texts you back. That's a huge signal. When you're calm, collected, and focused on your own lane, it sends a message: I'm good either way. And that kind of self-assuredness, it's magnetic. Let me put it like this. If a woman never gets the chance to miss you, she's never going to feel the urge to come closer. Missing someone only happens in their absence. Now, don't get it twisted. Pulling back doesn't mean going silent for weeks. That's just weird, and it signals disinterest. This is about subtlety. Maybe you don't respond immediately. Maybe you skip initiating for a few days and let her reach out. Maybe you keep the conversation light and then dip out first, leaving her wanting more. It's the little shifts that make the biggest difference. This also gives you your power back. Because when you're not constantly monitoring your phone for her next message, when you're not obsessed with whether she's pulling away, you're actually living. You're focused on your goals. You're making moves. You're becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to chase because he naturally attracts. And women feel that. Let's get something straight. Women don't chase guys just because they're good looking or because they say all the right things. That might get you some attention in the short term, sure. But if you want her to actually chase you back, really invest in you emotionally, it has to go deeper than that. You have to become the kind of man that draws her in naturally. And that starts by building a life that's already attractive, with or without her in it. This is where most guys get it wrong. They make her the mission. They build their days around her, their energy around whether or not she texts back, their happiness around whether they're getting her attention. And what happens? She loses interest, fast. Because the moment she realizes that your world starts and ends with her, it signals that you don't have much else going on. You've made her the reward instead of you being the prize. Let me give you a quick example. Imagine two guys. One guy's always texting her, always trying to see when she's free, always reshuffling his life just to get a moment with her. The other guy? He's focused on his business, hitting the gym, building his network, traveling, learning, living. He doesn't reach out much, not because he's playing games, but because he's busy becoming the best version of himself. Now ask yourself, which guy does she feel drawn to? It's obvious. She'll be wondering what the second guy's up to, why he hasn't called, what's going on in his world. That curiosity, that's the beginning of the chase. It's not about being cold. It's not about pretending you don't care. One of the biggest mistakes guys make when trying to get a woman's attention is giving her everything too fast. They think that if they open up completely, pour out all their thoughts, tell her every detail of their day, their feelings, their plans, it'll make her feel closer to them. But what actually happens is the opposite. When you give away too much, too soon, you remove any sense of mystery. And without mystery, there's no intrigue. Without intrigue, there's nothing pulling her in. One of the best ways to do this is through emotional contrast. Don't just stay on one frequency. Mix it up. Be fun, then thoughtful. Be serious, then playfully tease. Share something real, then pull back and change the subject. Keep her slightly off balance in the best way. When she doesn't know exactly what's coming next, she stays present. She stays engaged. She leans in. Also, be okay with silence. Most guys are afraid of it, so they fill it with noise. Text after text, random updates, constant small talk. But sometimes saying nothing says more. If you've just had a great conversation, don't follow it up with more chatter. Let it breathe. Let her sit with the feelings. Let her miss them. Most guys have no idea how powerful it is to set standards. They think that being a nice guy means saying yes to everything, tolerating bad behavior, letting things slide just to keep the peace. But let me tell you something real. If you don't have standards, you're not being nice. You're being invisible. You're blending into the background like every other guy who lets a woman walk all over him because he's afraid to lose her. And that's exactly why she loses interest. Women aren't attracted to doormats. They're attracted to men with backbone, men who know who they are, Men who respect themselves enough to expect respect in return. When you carry yourself like someone who values his time, energy, and attention, people take notice. You stop chasing approval and start commanding respect, not by force. Strong men don't chase approval. They move with clarity. And when someone disrespects their time, they address it, not with drama, but with dignity. That's the kind of energy women chase. It's rare. It's valuable. And they know it when they see it. You also have to understand that testing is real. Sometimes, whether consciously or not, a woman will push the boundaries to see what you'll tolerate. It's not about malice, it's about calibration. She wants to feel what kind of man you are. Do you bend under pressure, or do you hold your ground? Do you lose your cool, or do you stay centered? Every test is an opportunity. You either show her you're solid, or see, when you're playfully confident, you carry this lightness in your energy. You don't take everything so seriously. You're not hyper-focused on outcomes. You're not thinking, what if she doesn't like me? Or what should I say next? Instead, you're relaxed. You're present. You're having fun. And that's powerful, because it's rare. Most guys are trying so hard to be liked that they lose the very edge that would make them attractive in the first place. You ever notice how some people can just joke around effortlessly, tease a little, have fun with the moment, without sounding mean, without coming off insecure? That's playful confidence. That's the sweet spot. And when you're in that zone, you stop trying to impress and start expressing. That's why when you meet a woman you really like, don't go into performance mode. Don't start listing your accomplishments or trying to figure out what version of yourself she'll like best. Be real. Be playful. Tease her a little. Let her see that you're solid. That you're good with or without her, but that you're good with or without her. And if she starts pulling back, don't panic. Don't double text. Don't get reactive. Stay grounded. Let her feel that you're not shaken. That's what often brings her back. Not pressure, but presence. When she senses that you won't fold under emotional pressure, she feels safe. And safe. Now, I'm not saying you should sit back and do nothing. I'm saying you should lead, but you don't have to carry it all. Let her meet you halfway. Let her get curious. Let her put some energy in. It can be subtle at first. Maybe she starts asking you more personal questions. Maybe she double texts. Maybe she remembers something small you mentioned and brings it up later. Those are green lights. That's investment. And when that happens, you don't reward it by flooding her with attention. You match it. Then slowly increase the tension. One of the best ways to let her invest is to create conversations that pull emotion. Don't just keep it surface level with what you do for work or your favorite foods. Ask questions that invite stories, feelings, memories. Things like, here's the other side of it, though. Once she does start to invest, acknowledge it. Don't ignore it. Don't play it off like it's nothing. If she opens up about something meaningful, be present. Be real. Let her know you hear her. Not with over-the-top praise, but with subtle validation. That tells her she's safe to keep investing. That's how emotional connection builds, through a rhythm of openness and reciprocation. Also, let her help you. This is underrated. Most guys try to do everything themselves because they think asking for anything makes them look weak. But in reality,